Every once in a while, you get a truly great monster movie. Usually these sort of things happen when the right combination of excellent story, great directing, and awesome special effects all align to create something extremely memorable. Whether it be Ridley Scott's Alien, The Predator, Godzilla, or An American Werewolf in London, everything has to line up perfectly for something like that to happen. Well, sometimes monster movies may not reach the pinnacle of supreme success, but they do carve out a name for themselves by being the best they can possibly be under the circumstances that they've been handed. These are the types of projects that become cult classics, and today's subject may just be in that category. The Deadly Spawn is a 1983 monster movie about killer aliens that start to spread in a small town after a mysterious meteorite lands in the woods. The movie is insanely low budget, being made for only $25,000 in the early 80s, and was apparently inspired by a National Geographic article about seed pods that had been recovered from the Arctic. In the film, a creepy tadpole or leech-like creature begins to feed on people and other things around the small town, and over time, the monsters get bigger and bigger to the point of doing some serious damage to anything they come into contact with. Now, what makes these monsters, especially the one named the Mother Spawn, so cool, is the awesome usage of giant practical effects that the filmmakers put to good use. Essentially, what the Deadly Spawn are is a giant-sized mouth with multiple rows of teeth, a couple of lesser mouths attached to long stalks, not too dissimilar to something like King Ghidorah's design, and a set of crab-like legs that the monster uses for locomotion. Every time the big one is shown on screen, you really get a sense of where most of the money went from the budget, which, hey, in my opinion, looks pretty great for something that cost so little in the early 80s. The plot of the movie centers around a pair of geeky family members, one of which is a nerdy guy into science, and his brother happens to be a resourceful fan of monster movies. No joke, his room looks like a lot of what I'm sure many of us had growing up, with posters of King Kong, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Godzilla figures lining up the place. He's pretty much the hero of the whole thing, and honestly reminds me a lot of Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. But hey, I'll have to talk about that movie some other day. Just know that the Deadly Spawn, they're fully aware of what kind of movie they're making here, and it's the right kind of low-budget fun that would be good enough for a night of goofing around with some friends. I really had fun watching some of this stuff because it's self-aware to the point of, yeah, we love monster movies, and now we finally get to make one.
First, there was the invasion of the Body Snatchers. Then there was Alien. Now there is the Deadly Spawn.
The whole film was apparently made to kind of capitalize on the success of Alien from 1979, which is similar to what Sean Cunningham did with Friday the 13th after John Carpenter's Halloween came out, and you can see how much fun the people making this thing had, because some of the jokes and humor in the film are so silly and ridiculous that it could only be pulled off by actors and people that were truly fans of the genre.
What do you do when there is no escape? Nowhere to hide from being eaten alive.
What the f*** was that?
The Deadly Spawn.
The Deadly Spawn is a forgotten and unfortunately overlooked creature feature from 1983 that I'm certain barely anyone has ever even heard of outside of these sort of circles, and it's one that I think is most definitely not the greatest film ever made, but it's also not trying to be, and is instead a super low budget monster movie that tries to give the audience a good time with some excellent special effects and a story that makes for a fun small town battle against the evil aliens. If you've never seen it before, I really think you should check it out with some friends and have a good time, because it's one of those older horror movies that was genuinely made to be a good time. In some places, it was even released as Return of the Aliens, The Deadly Spawn, just to get that little bit of boosted relation to Ridley Scott's big movie from 1979. And hey, I think that's kind of funny to even think about as well.
The movie real science fiction fans have been waiting for. The Deadly Spawn want you to see them at this theater soon. They need every person they can get.
Anyways, guys, these are all just my own thoughts on The Deadly Spawn, a 1983 science fiction horror low-budget classic. Classic, can I say that? It's not good, but I don't care. That I wish more people knew about. But hey, whatever your own thoughts and opinions on this movie happen to be, and monster movies like this happen to be in general, I'd love to hear them. in the comments down below.